All right, video's on. Hi, everybody. Senator Knezek in the house. Mike in the house.
Isn't he cute?
She's not married?
No, she is. Yeah, her husband is works for the state. She works for the Michigan Municipal League.
All right. We are going to get this show on the road, I hope. Let's put this down in there. We are recording. All right. Here we go.
Talk shoes. Recorded live.
Good evening. This is Gary Rossi of the San Diego Veterans Coalition. You're listening to GC Community Chat. And now here's your host and my good friend, Mr. Kerry Parton.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of GC Community Chat. I'm your host, Kerry, and joining me tonight is Wayne County Commissioner Richard LeBlanc, Doppler Tom and Mike Jones. This show is dedicated to the residents and businesses of Garden City, as well as the surrounding communities. Remember, we're working hard to promote our community and yours. Well, hello again, and thanks for tuning in tonight. You are listening to show number 256 for July 30th, 2015. July is almost gone. Can you believe it, Mike?
Yep. So was David Price and Alfonso Soria. And
yeah, I think we'll talk about that a little later, too. All right, this is Garden City's only live podcast where we share news you can use and promote our community and yours. I'm your host, Kerry, and joining me tonight are my co-hosts and longtime resident and also former councilman, Mike Jones. How you doing, Mike?
doing pretty good, Kerry. Had a week off. Body's actually starting to heal a little bit.
That's good. And our favorite weather guy, Doppler Tom. Tom, how are you?
Cooling down, finally.
Yes, boy, we need it. We need it. That humidity was terrible, I'll tell you. So Richard is not here tonight. Haven't heard from Richard. He was supposed to be here, but he's probably out on the campaign trail, I would imagine, so we'll let him slide. Okay, tonight we welcome back to the show Senator David Knezek. We'll be talking with him about the status of the Plan B road funding bill and also a recent development on the on a $1.8 million SAFER grant awarded to Inkster and what that will mean for that community. And any other state updates that he cares to share with us. We'll see what's new in the county. Well, we were going to see what's new in the county with Richard, but I think Senator Knezek can weigh in on that. Also, Joy and Holly will be here with their 2-minute gardening tips. And tonight's topic is long-term food storage. Once you harvest all that food from your garden, what do you do with it? And Mike's going to be here with some, well, actually a lot of community events for you. A lot. So why not sit back, grab your favorite beverage, and hang with us for the next 60 minutes or so. Should be a good one. But first, let's get Tom in here for the latest on the weather, and then we'll move along. All right, let's get Tom in here. Okay, let's do a check on weather with Doppler Tom. Let's see what he has in store for the rest of this week and the weekend coming up. Tom, take it away. All right, yeah, finally cooled off.
Yeah, yesterday was the peak of that little warm spell that we had, if you will, but luckily it was only a day that it was really bad. But over the last week or so, it's been overall pretty warm out there. But yesterday broke it with that cold front that moved in. You know, cold and warm don't mix very well because that sparked a lot of rain out there. Some of the areas got over an inch of rain, including us in Garden City. But that's good, though. It cooled us down. We're now back into the 80s, where we should be this time of year, and the humidity is much lower than it was yesterday. And that's going to continue as we head throughout the next few days. Over the rest of tonight, it's going to be pretty cool out there, back into the 60s for overnight lows. So it's going to be comfortable if you want to give the AC a break. Definitely will. Your wallet will definitely thank you. And as we get into tomorrow, a lot of sunshine out there. A little afternoon clouds will build up. Again, those temperatures will be pretty warm, but you're definitely not going to really feel it with the breeze out there, just like today. Mid to upper 80s, so pretty nice. And as we get into the weekend, Saturday looks like it's going to be the best out of the weekend. Saturday will start with a lot of sunshine out there, and then the clouds will build up throughout the day. Temperatures will probably be in the low to mid 80s, so it'll be a dry day if you have any outdoor plans. So don't really worry about the rain until Sunday. Sunday, another disturbance will move in, and I definitely think we'll get some rain on Sunday, and those temperatures will be in the low 80s. And that front will continue to be around in our area for Monday. So Sunday and Monday will be the chances that we'll probably see a little bit of rain throughout the day, and the temperatures will be a little bit on the cooler side as we get into next week as well. As we get into Monday, we'll still be in the low 80s, but I do see a big change on our way, Terry. Luckily, it's not going to be any big heat anymore, but it's cooling down. As we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, temperatures will fall into the 70s for high temperatures.
Bless you.
It's going to be a big change.
Thank you.
I know. Definitely thanking us in the weather department.
Yeah.
No more heat and humidity to deal with. But it is a little bit below averages. We're going to be in a little bit of a trough pattern and a little bit of rain as we head late into next week, but no major heat, no major severe weather to deal with for our area. So that's some good news. But as we expand out, that front continued to move eastward across the northeast today. They've seen a whole lot of lines of rain and thunderstorms all across the northeast in the I-95 corridor. Luckily, there was no severe weather, just very heavy downpours, just like us here yesterday. And that continued into the southeastern United States, where they're dealing with a lot of rain and thunderstorms. And it even continues into parts of the southwestern United States, where they desperately need the rain. So some areas are getting rain. Most of the areas are not getting any rain. And the West Coast is continuing to be dry out there. They're dealing with pretty significant heat wave over the next few days out there, with temperatures and heat indexes are going to be well over 100 degrees. So they definitely are not in a good weather pattern to help with that drought, and that will continue throughout the next few weeks. And as we go into the tropics, luckily the Atlantic is very quiet, so we don't have to deal with any tropical disturbances here at home. So if you have any cruises or anything like that, you should be all right.
Mm-hmm.
And into the Pacific, we do just have one little storm out into the Pacific, which even could get a little close to Hawaii. So we'll keep an eye on that storm, which is pretty unusual for them. And other than that, the weather's overall been pretty quiet. The last little note I have is tomorrow we're going to have a full moon, which is going to be a full blue moon.
Oh, yeah.
Which basically just means that it's going to be the second full moon in 1 month.
Right.
The moon will not be blue. Per se. The only way that the moon can look blue is if there is smoke or dust particles from a volcanic eruption, which is very highly unlikely for us in Michigan to see ever a blue moon. But it's pretty interesting. They just call it a blue moon because it goes by the phrase "once in a blue moon." The last full moon was on July 1st, and the last one will be on the last day of the month. So it's pretty interesting. Just kind of interesting. The next time we'll have a blue moon isn't until 2018, so it's pretty interesting that. So other than that, you'll see the moon over the next few nights. So enjoy. It'll be very bright out there. Other than that, if you want to keep tuned to my local weather information, just go to my website, DopplerTomsWeather.com.
All right. Hey, Tom, is a blue moon always a full moon or no?
Yes.
It's always a full moon?
It's the second
That's why
one
they call it a blue moon. It's the second full moon in 1 month.
Oh.
Yes, it is full moon.
Okay, cool. Hello, guest 6. Who's this?
I'm sorry, I'm just listening in. I have a terrible cough. I'm just listening to the program.
Oh, okay. No problem. Glad to have you. Where are you from? Calling
you.
from?
Local. I'm local.
Okay. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Bill.
Sure. Thanks. I drank some water. Went down the wrong way. That's all.
That's okay. All right. If you'd like to be a part of the conversation here tonight, all you have to do is call 1-724-444-7444 and enter the call ID 82757 followed by the pound sign. Or you can join us in our chat room by going to TalkShoe.com and search for call ID 82757. That takes you right to our main show page where you'll click on the large join in button. A window will open, sign in as a guest, and that's all there is to it. Once you're in there, you can type your questions and comments at the bottom of the page, and you'll find our phone number and show ID there as well. And you can text your questions to us at 734-788-9319. And if you can't join us live here tonight, we have that covered too. All the shows that we do are recorded, so you can catch us later at your convenience. on our Facebook page at facebook.com/GC Community Chat, where we'll be posting the audio from tonight's show when it's made available, usually 30 minutes or so after we sign off. You can also go to our main show page at TalkShoe.com, search for show ID 82757, and you'll find all 256 shows over there. We're also in iTunes. Just search for GC Community Chat. And if all that isn't enough, we are also doing an unedited video of tonight's show, so you can put a face with the voice, and that will be made available sometime tomorrow on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/communitychatshow. Please look for that, and while you're there, why not subscribe to our channel? That way you'll be notified when we post future shows. We appreciate it. I just want to mention that if you'd like to be a guest on the show, we still have plenty of dates available. Maybe you own a business or belong to an organization and would like to share your information with us. Sorry about that. Somebody was laughing, I guess. If you want to share your information with us, and with the surrounding communities, then just send us an email at GC Community Chat, and we will shoot you some available dates, and that's all there is to it. So contact us today. Please mark your calendars for August 13th. We just booked a return visit with Vietnam veteran Richard Waldecker. You may remember him. He was here back in April and shared with us some eye-opening information about Agent Orange and how it is still affecting generations of families today. He'll be back to give us an update since his last visit. I recall that was one of our highest downloaded shows when he visited last time, so it should be a good one. Hope you can join us. Okay, let's get to it. Joining us, as he does every last Thursday of the month, is Senator David Knezek. Senator, welcome back.
Happy to be here.
So the legislators have adjourned without reaching a roads funding agreement. So now what?
What the House of Representatives has done is declared July Ice Cream Month. And
right.
So there's a lot to be proud of here in the state of Michigan. That's
awesome.
Sarcasm. Before that shows up on the campaign piece of literature against me in the future, it's sarcasm.
You got to take care of your priorities.
Yeah. The Senate passed plan. I voted no on this, and I've been open and honest with folks about that in the community. That's sitting in the House of Representatives right now. And the biggest two pieces of that plan, if you will, one is a $750 million tax increase by way of increased gas taxes. And the other piece, which is just as much, if not as damaging in the way that's being done, is a $700 million cut to the general fund.
Wow.
Now, the general fund, you're talking mental health services, you're talking veteran services, you're talking education dollars, you're talking about a number of things that they're just saying a $700 million cut. They're not saying where it's going to come from. They're just saying you're going to cut $700 million. So, that's a problem, number one. Number two, when I'm saying that we got an active listener tonight, I like that.
Yeah.
When I'm talking about that gas tax increase, again, I think that the folks here in Michigan wanted to see us move in a different direction after the May 5th vote came down 80-20 in opposition to that sales tax increase. But even more concerning about that is that when I go around town, and it doesn't matter what it is, police and fire millage, school millage, this tax, that, it doesn't matter. If you're honest about where it's going to go and why you need it.
Right.
90% of the time the residents get it, and they're supportive because they want to see the positive changes in the community. And so what my biggest problem is with this 15-cent gas tax increase is that it's not going to roads. Of that 15 cents, this is how it's broken down. They're going to do a 4 cents gas tax increase in October, if it passes. They're going to do a 4 cents gas tax increase in January. Then they're going to do a 7 cents gas tax increase next January.
Okay.
The first 4 cents goes to roads. The second 4 cents goes to roads. The last 7 cents does not.
Where's that go?
I'm going to answer that question, Carrie. So number one, you've got like 55% of the money that's supposed to be going to roads. The rest of it is going into this brand new fund that the legislature is creating called the 50-year lockbox.
Oh, no.
The 50-year lockbox. Now, that 7 cents, we know just from doing the actuarial studies, it's going to generate maybe $350 million a year. So $350 million a year into the lockbox. Can't be touched. Can't be touched unless a joint resolution of the House and the Senate gets adopted in both chambers, signed into law, and then you can open up that 50-year lockbox. And ask yourself, Carrie, do you think that the money in the 50-year lockbox is going to get spent through the road funding formula?
No.
Of course not.
No.
Of course not. It's going to be left to the discretion of whoever the majority party is at the time.
It sounds like a locked general fund to me.
To me, it sounds like a locked slush fund.
Yeah, slush fund.
And that's something that I've been very, critical of and consistent of from the beginning. You've got the road funding dollars that go through the formula. You've got these other funds that the legislature have created. They're just big slush funds, for pet projects, things they want to do in the district to take credit for. And I get that. You want to make sure that you're delivering the dollars for your district, but you need to have a fair playing field. You need to make sure that the dollars are going through the same formula.
Right.
And that's not what's happening now. That's not what's happening in this new plan. And so it should be no surprise to any of us that the response within the House of Representatives has been overwhelmingly negative.
Wow.
There is no rush to do this gas tax increase or this general fund increase. And so, if I was a betting man right now, if I was a betting man, I don't think we're going to see any action on roads in 2015. I don't think we're going to see any action on roads until lame duck 2016. That's December 2016, over a year and a half away from now.
Constituents aren't going to be happy with that.
It's and
I mean, they're not happy now. Let's face it.
Yeah. Mr. Jones and I and you had talked about this before we came on the air. Right, wrong, or indifferent. When we talked about what would happen if the May ballot proposal went down. One of the potentials was that we were going to either A, get a plan that's even worse than what was laid in front of the voters in May, or B, you're going to get nothing at all.
Once again, they're diverting money.
Right.
That's supposed to be for roads.
Right. And so, I think it's just, we've got so many political ideologues in Lansing right now. They can't approach an issue or a question from, what is the obligation that we have to our residents, whether it be public safety or roads or you name it.
Yeah.
They blindly signed a little pledge to say that they would never touch a tax or this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
And, they're beholden to the folks that fill their pocketbooks. And so we don't have any action coming out of the legislature. What concerns me the most, and this is public knowledge, this isn't even inside baseball, when they were trying to negotiate the roads deal last term when I was in the House of Representatives, pretty frequent conversations were being had between the governor.
Was that the 1919 vote?
And the 1919 was the
Lieutenant Governor broke it?
That was the gas tax increase this year.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But last year, the governor was meeting pretty frequently with what we call the quadrant in Lansing. And the quadrant is the leader of the House Democrats, the leader of the House Republicans, the leader of the Senate Democrats, and the leader of the Senate Republicans. So the four leaders of their respective caucuses would meet with the governor and talk about what it is, can be done or can't be done, or what's the compromise, or what are the priorities. Those type of conversations are not taking place right now in Lansing. There hasn't been any quadrant meetings. I don't think the governor's happy with the direction that we're going in right now. And so he's kind of enjoying watching his own party. I mean, he's not up for re-election. What does he care?
They're self-destructing.
So I think he's enjoying watching his own party kind of, flounder with this one. Yeah, implode is So what's happening to the roads right now? The roads are imploding.
Yeah, they are. Exactly.
Is he in his second term?
Yes, he is.
And he can't run again.
Nope, this is it for him.
So.
Yeah, he's term limited too.
Yeah, this is it. So no action on roads, and like I said, I don't think you're going to see
anything.
I don't see it happening.
Wow.
I don't see it happening.
Wow. That is terrible.
Unless we get people across this state to turn out some of the people who inhibit discussion and compromise, it's not going to happen.
You know what's really interesting when you talk about that? Last year, the United States Chamber of Commerce they spent $70 million across the country to try and get Republicans elected. And these same Republicans are dampening the process in Congress right now. They're holding up good pieces of legislation. And so the Chamber of Commerce came out last week and said not only are they going to spend money in the 2016 elections, they're spending money to get rid of Republicans. They're spending money to get rid of their own people.
Have the Democrats, though, countered with any kind of what have they come up with? I mean,
the Democrats on numerous occasions have released what they think should be priorities as it relates to the roads piece. It's included everything from obviously things I've talked about, changing the road funding formula to make sure that the dollars are going to where the need is most, lowering the truck weight limits, which Republicans do not want to have a conversation about.
I don't get that.
The road warranties piece, which I'll give credit where credit is due. Everybody agrees on that. The road warranties piece.
Yeah, definitely.
But time and time again, we're saying, here's the plan, here's the plan, here's the plan. If you want to do cuts to the general fund, okay, we get that, but let us have a say in what's being cut. Because
but then they turn around and want to do this lockbox thing.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
Come on.
So it's just difficult to have these conversations.
They don't have the votes for that,
right? And I know for a fact, I know some great Republicans in Lansing. I know some great Democrats, people that want to work
with a lot of them across the aisle.
Exactly. But the parties are being held hostage by the ideological right and the individuals who can't seem to come off their own high horse, their own, sort of cloud of righteousness
and who's the ones
to
that
work
are
together.
hurting? John Q. Public, man.
The 10 million people that were elected to represent.
Yeah.
We're the only ones that pay the price. The same way that I say, when the legislature messes around with education, the only people that pay the price are the kids.
Yeah.
We screw around on these issues right here. It's 10 million people that we're screwing over every single day.
Yeah, it's wrong. Wrong. Mike, anything on the roads before we move on?
It's so frustrating on many levels. We've still got the basic structural problems, I think, of gerrymandered districts
Yep.
that make people's seats safe no matter how far right or left they happen to be philosophically. And we've got the term limits is an issue that I've never been in favor of.
I don't know if that's ever going to be resolved.
No, there's people that are saying that, see, we told you can't trust these people. We need term limits.
Yeah.
But we don't have any buildup of experience.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we get somebody good like David,
out the door,
and he learns the job,
but he does have more time, thank God, this time than he did when he was state rep. Now Julie, she's just getting started,
right?
And look
she'll be out the door before you know
she'll be campaigning again.
Yeah, that is. I'm telling you, that's the worst part.
It is.
Especially a 2-year term.
Oh,
you get a year to actually do the job. If it's your first year in, you're spending the first 6 months trying to.
What has to be done to change
activated.
that? Is that what the voters really want now?
I think that. You talk to some folks, and the answer is absolutely yes.
Yeah.
But you talk to a lot of people, and you realize what they thought they were going to get out of that process when they voted to enact term limits I believe it was in the 90s. Mm-hmm. Certainly hasn't manifested itself, ever since. This is the message, that I send to folks on term limits. Mm-hmm. So, the goal is you want to get fresh blood in there and new ideas and people that aren't, too bought into the system, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And everybody looks at the outlier, that one person that spent a long time in Congress or a long time in the State House.
Or Conyers.
So,
this is what we hear.
Right. But the reality is
a lot of experience.
Whoa. A lot of knowledge.
Oh,
they know,
just
for lack of a better phrase, they know where the bodies are buried.
Yes, that's right.
They know. And so when you get rid of that, you lose, what I call the institutional knowledge. Uh-huh. And so when a legislator doesn't have the institutional knowledge, somebody else has to. Mm-hmm. It's the lobbyists. And so when you take away, when you put the term limits on, the legislature becomes less effective. The legislature becomes less knowledgeable, and it increases the role of paid interests and special lobbyists.
Yeah, that's true.
And so,
makes sense.
And the reason for that is, I'll give you an example. And again, when I say the word lobbyist, I don't necessarily equate it to a dirty word because everybody's got a lobbyist.
Yeah.
Chief Harmon, there's a association of fire chiefs that are the lobbyists for fire chiefs.
Right, right.
POAM's the lobbyists for police officers. The whole nine. You become so dependent on asking questions because, hey, Carrie, I've got this idea. I want to do X, Y, and Z. Well, David, that was tried 15 years ago, and this is why it failed. So if you want to be successful, you need to do X, Y, and Z. And that's knowledge that legislators do not have anymore.
No.
The people that are there for a while, they say in any job, you need to be doing it 6 to 10 years before you're proficient. In Michigan, 6 years, you're out the door.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting and it's ironic because the legislature is the only job that I can think of where we value inexperience. And it's a job that affects each and every one of us in a very significant way.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it
so, it's frustrating. It's frustrating.
So how can that be changed? Is that something that has to be...
It was a constitutional
voted on,
amendment.
right?
Yeah, the residents voted on that constitutionally, so it would have to go in front of the voters again. To be overturned. And, it's one of those things that's it's incredibly difficult to go back to the drawing board and to convince people that, particularly, the conversations that are usually had about that is if we were to go back to either no term limits or extending them so that, you might have some time to get acclimated.
Yeah, just extend, I would think.
Really. Yeah.
That's a start.
The conversation usually starts with, well, it can't apply to us. So you're not trying to extend our own lives. We're saying whoever comes after us, it applies to them. And so, say if I'm term limited out of the Senate in 8 years. So, say we passed it and got it done. Well, it doesn't apply to me, but whoever comes after me, it doesn't apply to.
Okay.
Some other alternatives they've said before is, you can do 2 terms in the House, 2 terms in the Senate, 1 term in the House. But if you go out after you're term limited and get the signatures of 25% of the people that voted for you last time, that you can get back on the ballot for 1 additional term in each chamber or something like that. Something kind of strange like that.
Yeah, that's a little strange.
Yeah, and very hard to follow.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so that's not going to change anytime soon.
No, don't sound like it.
A lot of work.
A lot of work.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it's too bad. I don't know. I can almost see both sides of it, but I don't know.
Yeah, and the response
It's
is
really,
you're always going to have the good, you're always going to have the bad. Every 2 years and every 4 years, you've got the opportunity to get somebody new.
Yeah.
And incumbency is certainly a powerful thing in politics, but I can think of a friend of mine. She was a state rep in Chicago, Illinois. She was a state rep for 12 years. So you think after 12 years, you're so ingrained.
Okay, so other states are different.
Oh, yeah. Some states have no term limits at all.
Wow.
Yeah, Chicago's got no term limits.
Wow.
Like the speaker of the House of Chicago, I think, has been the speaker for 30 years.
Really? Holy cow.
But yeah, so she was a state rep for 12 years. She got lazy. She got beat. Even though she had 12 years of incumbency behind her, somebody else came along and showed that she wasn't doing the work, and so the voters tried something new.
Wow.
It can happen.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
All right, moving on. Today you posted on Facebook some rather good news for our neighboring community of Inkster.
Great
Can you
news.
explain what that was and what this is going to mean to that community?
Yeah, the reason I think this is such great news is, we try to look at things, or I think we need to look at things from a more regional perspective, obviously. What happens in Redford Township, in Detroit, in Dearborn Heights, in Livonia, and Westland, and Inkster, this affects us in Garden City.
Right, absolutely.
And so the city of Inkster right now has 9 firefighters.
Wow.
9 firefighters.
And how many calls do they do?
So
5,400 or something?
5,400 calls a year.
God.
So that breaks down to 600 calls per firefighter, right?
Oh my
the
gosh.
national average is, I think it's 126. Is the national average.
Wow.
And so we're at 600 right now, so it's crazy. It's crazy.
That is nuts.
And so, these SAFER grants, and Garden City has been the recipient of a SAFER grant in the past. Dearborn Heights just got an $800,000 SAFER grant. The application was submitted by the folks with the Wayne Westland Fire Authority. A lot of support and encouragement from everybody from Gary Peters and Debbie Stabenow down to the state level, myself and Representative Plawecki, County Commissioner LeBlanc, the folks with the Fire Authority and the departments. So Inkster got a $1.8 million grant today.
That is awesome.
And that $1.8 million is going to allow them to hire 12 new firefighters And so it's going to bring their total to 21 firefighters.
Now, this is strictly for fire department.
Strictly for the fire department.
Okay.
Yeah, it's earmarked as,
Dedicated.
one of those, yeah. So it's dedicated funds for the fire department. And so with 21 firefighters, that's the highest that their fire department has ever been at.
Wow.
So they are just absolutely ecstatic about it down in Inkster. And I think it's a great thing.
Absolutely.
It's great news. It's great
But
news.
then you got to, the cons, the comments on there was, let's hope it's managed right, or, give them a couple
Right.
months, they'll screw that up.
Right.
Really, you got to play the devil's advocate here.
No, always.
And
And I think-
hopefully they're going to have the right people in place to manage that.
And I think the bigger issue, too, is, again, I always want to look long-term.
Yeah.
The grant's going to run out at some point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so
yeah.
then what?
And you got to come up with the money to keep the people.
Well, then you're talking millage.
Something.
You're talking safety millage.
Something.
Like we're going to be going. And isn't that odd? 1.8 million is what we're going to be generating.
Oh, is it really?
Taxes, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Or 1.7, something like that. 1.7.
And again, that gets back to my point of when you're telling folks what you need and what you need it for, they'll do it. I'll give you a quick example.
It's very important.
In my portion of Detroit that I represent in the Senate, we've got a community called Grandmont Rosedale. Mm-hmm. And it's Rosedale Park, Grandmont,
Rosedale Park's
Grandmont
nice.
1.
Very nice.
And Minnock Park, 5 block clubs, 5 community associations.
Uh-huh.
And very stable neighborhood. I mean, I'll not go into detail about what they've been doing up there, the residents, but it's phenomenal stuff. Mm-hmm. And so they're going around right now, and they're getting ready to collect signatures to put a special assessment district on the ballot for those 5 neighborhoods.
Okay.
And what that special assessment district is going to cover: snow removal on the sidewalk and in the middle of the street.
So they don't want to wait for the city. They
Don't
want
want to
their
wait.
own little
They said, give it to us.
organization.
Yeah, we'll pay for it. Give it to
Association.
me. And dedicated 24/7 police presence.
Wow.
They said
Wow.
it's about $200 a home. The residents are saying, give it to me.
And they probably have the money in that area too. I mean, they're pretty.
The home price, is between.
It's a nice area. I mean,
Yeah, the reports just came out the other day for Detroit, the average home prices, and you look at around there and you see this nice little dot in northwest Detroit. It's Grandmont Rosedale, where the housing values are almost double the surrounding areas.
well, I know Palmer Park area. There's huge mansions over there. Also.
Yeah, Palmer Park, Palmer Woods is just outside of my district, other side of Livernois. And oh my gosh, they're going for $300,000-400,000 over there.
Unbelievable.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful.
It really is.
But again, Garden City is doing the right thing to make sure that we can meet the needs that we have. Inkster,
Maintain what we have.
Yeah. And so that's a good thing. And like I said, great news for Inkster, great news for Dearborn Heights, great news for Garden City, Redford Township, the whole 9 yards.
That is. That is awesome. Now we just got to work on their police.
That's a
gonna
whole
be
nother lift.
tough.
That's going to be tough. I think there's some conversations going on right now. A lot of times they want to keep the county and the state in the dark on that stuff until they get to a point where it's worth having a conversation with the different levels of government.
Yeah.
But again, we've got the state police in there right now. They're helping out, doing a great job. And there's obviously been some issues with the Inkster Police Department right now, and so you gotta right the ship. You got to rebuild trust. You got to make sure that you're out there in the community and that you're doing the right thing. And I've done ride-alongs.
Right people in there.
Right. I've done ride-alongs with the state police, and the way I see the state police interact with residents is just so incredibly positive. And
let me tell you, it's a welcome sight to have them there.
oh yeah.
Because otherwise, and I think they have the county too, right? Sheriffs.
There are
a couple.
Periodically, the county would come in, and I have not seen the county in
I think
this
it's
year.
mostly Michigan State.
Yeah. Oh yeah. State police has a dedicated number of officers, a sergeant, and a lieutenant in the city right now in Inkster, which is again, it's good. You
God
get
they
to
have
build that rapport,
Yeah.
and away you go.
Right.
So-
Right. They have no snitch policy they have to work on.
Right. The other thing that broke my heart the other day. Remember when I was talking about that? I'm trying to think how I want to phrase it. We tried to pull together the parks and recreation opportunities for Inkster to have gentlemen come in and manage the recreation center, manage the parks, and create the jobs in Inkster, and then they completely blew him off.
Yeah.
He went on to greener pastures, and so he's getting ready to sign a contract with the city of Wayne right now.
Oh,
he's going to be taking over some of the Parks and Rec duties for the city of Wayne and some of the parks. And
wow.
So, it's
there you go.
missed
Another
opportunity.
opportunity missed.
Missed opportunity.
That's just a question of the wrong people in there, I think.
Yeah, we're going to get a great new mayor in Inkster this year, some great new city council members.
Young council member.
Young, but
Very young.
aggressive and knowledgeable and very well respected.
That's
in
what you
town.
need.
Yep, Joel's a great
Fresh
kid.
ideas.
He's great, yep.
All right. Moving on. What's the latest on the service dog bill?
Service dogs bill is awaiting passage in the opposite chambers. Obviously with us being on recess right now, there's not much moving, but
it's there.
It's there, and it's ready to rock and roll.
So that should be pretty much one of the first things that happens.
I would like it to be. Yeah, I would like it to be. There's some other things that we're working on right now, but like I said, we've done so much. We've got it to where it needed to be. We just need the legislature to come back into session and get it across the finish line here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's going to happen.
It is going to happen. It is going to happen.
It's a good bill. So, okay. Any other state?
Not at the state.
Information you want to?
Not at the state. I've been entrusted with giving the county update.
Yeah, let's get into that now. They have till August 6th, I believe, the commission has to vote on one of the 4 options that they're going to go with.
Right.
So let's remind everybody about the 4 options again.
Yep. And like you said, they've got until next week to vote.
Yeah.
No vote was taken this week. So the 4 options. Number 1, emergency manager.
Right.
Okay. Number 2, bankruptcy. Number 3, a neutral evaluator. And number 4, a consent agreement. And based upon my conversations with members of the commission, including Commissioner LeBlanc, it would appear as if the only option that has been taken off the table is, I believe he said, I'm going to check the text message so I don't screw it up.
Probably bankruptcy, I
believe it's bankruptcy.
I would think so.
Or emergency manager. Who knows? Let's see what my Facebook
Both
or my Twitter says. Emergency manager.
Oh, okay.
Emergency manager is the only one that has been sort of officially taken off the
Wow.
table in the minds
Now,
of
I'm surprised at
the
that.
legislature.
I'm surprised at that. I thought bankruptcy would have been. But,
I think
I'm good to
bankruptcy-
see that.
I think bankruptcy is going to come off the table too because, bankruptcy
don't
usually
owe
occurs
anybody.
exactly. They don't owe creditors. They don't owe companies. They owe residents a lot of money.
oh, yeah.
But
Yeah, they've
I
taken
think bankruptcy comes off the table too. So if I'm a betting man, I think it's going to go the consent agreement route.
That's what the county exec wants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you get additional powers, I'm sure you'd want
So
it too.
let me ask you this, if you know this. Once a commission votes and they decide on what option they want,
Then you got to design the consent agreement.
is there any way the executive can veto that?
I don't know the answer to that, Kerry.
Yeah, I was
don't.
wondering about
I don't.
that. Because, they could come up with, say, they want the negotiator or whatever, and he wants a consent agreement. I mean, does he have a voice in that?
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head.
We'll have to find out when we see Richard.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting. Because
It'll be
he's got a
interesting.
lot of power.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And he'll have even more power under the consent agreement. I'll tell you, though, what gives me a tremendous amount of confidence, particularly if they go the consent agreement route and Executive Evans gets additional powers and responsibilities. I think that he has been so incredibly forthcoming about the challenges that the county's facing.
Yeah, he's been real upfront with everything.
You've got to respect that. You've got to respect that. So I know his heart's in the right place. I know that he doesn't have any problem telling it like it is. And to me, that puts you in a really good position to make some very tough decisions and to do whatever you have to do to right the ship.
Yeah.
And so if it comes down to consent agreement and Executive Evans gets additional powers, if it was anybody else, I might feel differently. But given his track record and given his level of being forthright and open and in his assessment, I think I've got a tremendous amount of confidence in him and what he'd be able to do under a consent agreement.
Yeah. Well, he definitely hit the ground running, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got no choice.
And
You got
he's
no
making
choice.
the tough calls, like you said. It's, and then like Richard says, the taxpayers have really taken it on the chin, too.
Big time.
Big time.
Big time. Well, took it again this summer.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
What can you do? But that's it.
Any other? That's it on the Wayne.
That's it on the Wayne County. 4 options.
right.
Vote coming next week. Emergency manager's off the table. I'm going to bet bankruptcy comes off too.
Yeah.
And I think we're going for a consent agreement.
Yeah, I think you're right. I would agree with that. Let me ask you this. Speaking of knowing where the bodies are buried, I can't let you guys slide.
The anniversary.
This is the 40th anniversary of James Hoffa disappearance. What are your thoughts on that?
Didn't we
perfect crime, eh?
Didn't we think he was in Garden City for a while? Like underneath?
I think that was
started.
Yeah, along with Elvis.
That hill in the park for bike riding or whatever that was buried there.
Oh, the skate park?
No, it was before the skate park. They had a hill or something that for bike,
that
riding,
big mound of dirt.
And people said they wanted to get rid of it. And they said, well, why don't they just start the rumor that Jimmy Hoff is buried there?
I like that.
Yeah.
And it'll be gone in no
He
time.
was in the end zone of a Giant Stadium, and oh my God, part of the Zilwaukee Bridge or something.
Oh yeah,
I heard too.
he might be under the skate park. That's a lot of concrete.
Isn't
Who
that
knows?
something?
Who knows?
Wouldn't that be something?
He's probably in several places.
So what do you
Yeah.
think? I mean,
Honestly,
boy,
Gary, I've
perfect
got
crime,
no idea. I've got no
I
idea.
don't think we're ever going to find out either.
no, because everybody that was involved is either dead or they're so old now that they'll probably never talk. Mm-hmm. That's what they're saying.
I don't think we'll ever find him.
No. Wow.
I'll be
Very interesting
About as much
case,
chance
though.
of finding him as we do Amelia Earhart.
I'll be 68 celebrating the 80th anniversary of him going missing, and I'll be asking the same questions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things like Kennedy's assassination. It's very intriguing, very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And history.
Yeah.
I mean, boy, everybody's got an opinion. All right. So I guess that's it. Guess that's it with the senator. You got
Easy
anything, Mike?
peasy. Mike's got some good stuff, doesn't he?
Oh, I just got community stuff that
There you go.
that Carrie's passed along to me to
All right.
share with people.
Well, we'll get to that shortly. But
Still haven't had Holly and Joy yet.
yeah, I want to get Holly and Joy in here, and then we're not going to get to Richard. We took care of him. So let's get Joy and Holly in here. Thank you, Senator.
Yes, sir.
All right.
This is Gardening in 2 Minutes. Growing a garden is only part of the equation. Knowing what to do with the harvest once you've picked it is the other half. There's a variety of different methods that you can go about storing your harvest. This can be as canning with water bath or pressure canning, and there are other alternatives.
You want to think about things like freezing. Freezing is a good option. Another thing is dehydrating. Freezing is pretty simple for most vegetables. You parboil them, you put them in an ice bath, and then you portion them out to how you want to freeze them. Dehydrating does require usually a dehydrator, but you can oven dehydrate some things as well. And that way it just sucks the moisture out of it, and then you store it in an airtight container or bag until you're ready to use it. A lot of this can be done with many vegetables, and then you can have a quick vegetable soup once you reheat them.
Now you could actually do a DIY homemade sun dehydrator. And not all vegetables need to be hard-boiled before freezing, correct?
Yes, that's true. Leeks don't need to, and I'm sure there's other ones as well.
Peaches?
And peaches, yeah. So that's a fruit. But you definitely want to make sure you look up how to freeze it correctly so that you don't end up with some mushy vegetables.
Items such as winter squash, butternut, buttercup, spaghetti, pumpkin, and other winter squashes can be stored in a very cool, dry place, such as a corner of a basement. Now, if you do not have that source, you can always store them in a cabinet away from the heat, farthest away from the heat, and in a dark corner. Now, when storing them in that particular method, they will store a lot less than if they were in a basement, or what our grandparents used to use would be a root cellar, where they stored many and much of their harvest. For more information on storing your harvest and methods on storing your harvest, our weekly video productions, as well as our free downloadable digital quarterly magazines, you can find all that information at
theWisconsinVegetableGardener.com.
For the health-conscious organic gardener worldwide. For Gardening in 2 Minutes, I'm Joy Baird.
And I'm Holly Baird.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Talk to you next week. All right, I have two reminders. There will be no coffee hour for our legislators for the month of August. They will meet the second Monday of the month, and their next meeting will be September 14th, I believe. Right, Senator? September 14th? Yes, sir. All right. I also want to remind all residents that the next regular city council meeting will be held on August 10th at 7 p.m. in the council chambers located at 6000 Middlebelt Road. They urge all residents to attend. And if you were at the last council meeting, as Mike and I were, it was looking pretty optimistic in favor of the safety millage. Wouldn't you think, Mike?
Yeah, there were a lot more people speaking positively about the millage, Kerry. So overall, that was a meeting that you walked out of and thought, this is one of the better meetings that we've had.
Yep, felt pretty good.
Far outweighed the negative comments.
Yep. Yeah, it was very, very positive. Very positive. All right, well, let's get to Mike, and we're going to do some announcements now. He's got a ton of them tonight. Mike, what do you got?
Oh, you're right about that, Kerry. Let me start out with the First United Methodist Church in Garden City, 6443 Merriman Road. They're having a series of 5 summer concerts. Mm-hmm. They're on Wednesday nights. They're at 6:30. They're in the church sanctuary. The first one was last night. They had Abby Pasvan, who's a gospel singer. I understand there were about 55 people attended. All of these are free, by the way. Mm-hmm. And she just did a wonderful job. You can even purchase CDs if you're interested. I know John Fleming has them at his office and over in the Mazzoni building. Next week, August 5th, they have the Optimistics, which is a doo-wop group of the 50s and 60s.
Doo-wop.
Yeah, music from my ear. I know the lyrics for most of that stuff.
Yeah.
On August 12th, they have a barbershop quartet. On August 19th, a harpist. And then on August 26th, the big one that's on the Senator's calendar is the Ice Cream Social and Big Band Express.
Yeah, I'm disappointed we're going to miss that one.
Yeah, well, there'll be ice cream to eat and dancing in the parking lot. Bring a long chair and make yourself comfortable.
Mm-hmm. It's a good time.
Tomorrow, you can meet the new youth services librarian, Aaron Look, at the Garden City Library from noon to 4. No need to register, just drop in. Light refreshments will be served. We had the pleasure of having her attend today's Kiwanis meeting, so I got to meet her then. She is really young. So if you're looking for somebody who ought to be able to identify with youth, this looked like a good candidate.
Yeah, I'm going to actually be sending her some dates, so we're going to get her on the show here, too.
Yeah,
so.
it'd be nice.
Yeah, do a little meet and greet.
The Garden City Hockey Association is having their 3rd annual golf tournament. It's Saturday, August 8th, 2015. It's at the Gateway Golf Course on Romulus, on Gateway Drive. Entry fee is $80 per player, and they're looking for players to help support the Hockey Association. You can register or donate by contacting Darlene Hennessy at 313-917-4173 or at shortdog@wideopenwest.com. Mm-hmm. You need to send your registration or donations by August 1st, and that's coming up Saturday. Garden City Soccer Club is having their fall 2015, spring 2016 registration. It's taking place right now. So if you know a child that's interested in playing soccer this fall, you should contact them today. Spots are filling up quickly. You don't want your child to miss out. So sign up now. If you have any questions, feel free to check out their website. All board members' email addresses are posted on there at www.gardencitysoccer.com. There's also a vendor show to raise money for the Florence Park in Garden City. Please invite family, friends, and neighbors to this event. This will be Thursday, August 13th, from 6 to 8:30 at 31735 Maplewood. The Maplewood Center vendors who will be present are Pampered Chef, 31 Sensi, Paparazzi Jewelry, and Jamberry, and much more. This is a free event. You have to come and see it for yourself from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 5805 Central Avenue in the Farmers Market Lot. We have a appreciation picnic put on by Guardian Martial Arts, American Kempo demonstration. It's going to be Saturday, August 15th from 1 to 4:30. There'll be hot dogs, hamburgers, bounce houses for kids of all ages, and an American Kempo demonstration. No pre-registration is necessary. It would help us to plan better if we know you will be coming. You can contact them at 734-266-0565. Guardian Martial Arts is located at 30942 Ford Road. Also, you can check the website at www.guardianmartialarts.com. The Garden City Library is presenting a celebration performance by Dance Express. It'll be at the Maplewood Community Center Gym. It's August 15th at 1 p.m. After the performance, you can stop by the library to browse their new instructional dance selection of instructional dance books, CDs, and DVDs purchased thanks to the generous grant. Light refreshments will be served. I'm not sure if they've got anything on dance instruction for people with 2 left feet. It doesn't really say. Call at 734-793-1830 to reserve your seat.
You saying you got 2 left feet?
Yeah, well, I don't know. One left and one club, maybe. I don't know. American Legion Post 396 is having a golf outing on August 15th, 2015 at the Warren Valley Golf Course. Shotgun start at 9 a.m., $100 per golfer, 18 holes, scramble golf, breakfast, lunch, dinner, raffle, and much more, and a $15,000 prize for a hole-in-one.
There you go.
Yeah, I've expressed my concerns that they don't have anybody for my level of competence. Nothing about a hole in 15.
Right.
Healthy Kids, Healthy Families. Also Saturday, August 15th. You get covered and stay covered day.
A lot of stuff August 15th. Wow.
This is a busy time of the year.
Very busy.
You can walk in any time between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Walk out with a completed application and maybe even health insurance. Need to bring birth dates, social security numbers, and annual income before taxes and deductions for all members of the household. Any legal immigrant paperwork. If you're wondering if you need it, then bring it. This will be at the Maplewood Center on Maplewood Street in Garden City.
Yeah, that's important. Insurance. Very important.
Somebody that doesn't have insurance, this is a
good deal.
A good chance for them to get covered and quite possibly for no out-of-pocket expenses or very little.
Right.
It's tough to be without insurance because you compromise the health care that you get.
Yeah. Or
you wait too long and it becomes difficult to even treat the condition anymore.
Yeah.
And a senior brigade, Michigan Seniors Initiative, tips to protect yourself and your future on home repair and equity scams will be held on August 19th at the Garden City Public Library, 6:30 p.m., 31735 Maplewood Street. How to recognize and avoid home repair and home loan scams. How to work with a contractor and reverse mortgage tips. This is being sponsored by the Honorable Bill Schuette, our Attorney General. And you can get more information on that by looking at the website www.mi.gov/Senior Brigade or miseniorbrigade@gmail.com. And that's all I have, Gary.
All right. That's a lot. And that's some good information there, too, for home scams and all that. A lot of stuff going on. All right, Brenda's Butterfly Habitat is now open. They're doing great over there. It's located at Barson's Greenhouse, 6414 Merriman Road. She's open now through September 5th, so you have plenty of time to get over there. Thursday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It will be closed if it's raining. It's a great place to hang out with the kids, the grandkids, or just by yourself. It's all free, but donations are accepted. Check it out. You won't be sorry. And the GCBA is always looking for new members. Any business owner interested in becoming a member of the GCBA, please visit their website at GCBiz, that's B-I-Z, 48135.org, or go to their Facebook page at facebook.com/Garden City Business Alliance. What do we got? What is it?
Don't
Oh, yeah. I'll get that.
I hope so. Very important for us.
Right. For more information, to become a member, like I said, just head on over to their website. You can also call 734-788-9319. GCBA meets on the second Friday of each month, and their next meeting is August 14th, 6 p.m., and it's going to be hosted by the Golden Feather Restaurant located at 29633 Ford Road in Garden City. That meeting will mark their 1-year anniversary, so we think there might be a little something special planned. Bring your ideas and some business cards because networking is what it's all about. The GCBA is talking about some great events planned in the near future for the community, and I can tell you there are 2 events tentatively planned for October with more information to follow, so stay tuned for that. Why not consider joining and be a part of the moving the business community forward? And gentlemen, I can't end the show tonight. Well, we already covered that. The 40th anniversary of the disappearance of Teamster President James Hoffa. Very interesting case. Looks like they're never going to solve that one, does it?
No, don't think so.
Nope. All right, well, we're ready. I think we're ready to call this a podcast. I want to thank Senator David Knezek for stopping by. Always a pleasure to visit with him. Also, thanks to my co-hosts, Richard, Tom, and Mike. Richard, wherever you're at, we missed you. Great job as always. And also thanks to Joy and Holly, all the way from Wisconsin, for your gardening tips. And thank you to everyone who hung out in the chat room with us. And for those that will be watching us later on our YouTube channel, we really appreciate your support every week. Remember, the audio from tonight's show will be available on Facebook shortly after we sign off on our Facebook page at facebook.com/GCChat. And look for the video of tonight's show sometime tomorrow on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/CommunityChatShow. Okay, don't forget, the success of a community depends on the community, so please support your local businesses. And if you see something, say something. Look out for one another out there. For all your weather information, be sure to head on over to DopplerTomsWeather.com and join us next week right here on TalkShoe.com, show ID 82757, when we'll be live with another episode of GC Community Chat. And remember, if you want your voice heard, be sure to vote August 4th in the primary, and then again November 3rd in the general election. And I also want to mention that we're going to be on vacation the last 2 weeks in August, so mark your calendars, and we will be back on air September 3rd. Be a great time to get caught up on any of our past shows you may have missed simply by going to TalkShoe.com, search for show ID 82757, and all of our 256 shows are listed right there on our main show page for you. So on behalf of Richard, wherever you are, Tom, Mike, Holly, and Joey, this is Carrie. Take care and see you next time. Yeah. See ya. Are you hungry?
No, I'm good.
Okay.